Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's been over a month since the last video, but we're back now and we're going to be pumping out some videos on this Celica. I've actually already made a start. I'll update you on that by the end of this video. But first I thought I'd answer a few questions I've had from both friends and subscribers. So what's been happening? Where have I been for the past month? Well, when tearing down the Celica, the engine, apart from the actual bottom end failure, I found quite a few other things that had actually failed. Those things included the turbo, fuel rail was bent, the cams were worn, the clutch had actually gone, and that had been worn so severely it's actually damaged the flywheel, amongst other things. So I just had to go back and reevaluate what the best course forward was. Do I continue with the rebuild, or do I source a second-hand engine? I've come to the conclusion I'm going to rebuild the engine. Second-hand engines are quite expensive, and even if I'm going to be spending £1,000, it's quite difficult to find an engine that I can either A, see is running, or B, have some sort of history or warranty with. It's almost impossible for around about £1,000, which is the most I would be willing to spend on a used engine. Rebuilding the engine, I'm actually going to be able to probably do it for about £1,500 to a high standard with mostly genuine parts. So I thought, if I spend £1,500-ish, then I'm going to know it's done to a high standard. I can check the clearances, I know what parts are going in there. So that's the decision I've come to. So today I've actually been to the machine shop. I've taken down my crankshaft and also the camshaft out of the engine. So here we have the crank and the two cams. I'm going to wrap them up in some sort of protective wrapping, just so that obviously they don't get damaged on the way down. I thought I'm just going to use this. It's lint free, and you know, it's used for polishing cars, but also it's hollow and it's clean and it's fresh and it's brand new. So I'm just going to basically use it like a big sock to keep the crank safe. We don't really want the metal getting chipped. Now they're only going in a plastic container, so I think that's going to be safe just for taking them down to the shop. Let's go to the machine shop. Really excited to be getting this ball rolling and get this Celica back on the road. So yes, the crankshaft has gone to the machine shop and it's actually going to have a regrind. I'm in the Rhondda Valleys, which is an old Welsh mining valley just north of Cardiff. So I'm only about half an hour from Cardiff, and I've actually decided to go to South Wales Pistons, who are going to regrind the crankshaft. Now I will be making an explain video on what a crankshaft regrind actually is, but just a quick explanation. The rough surface on that crankshaft is going to be smoothed out. Now the way they smooth that out is they actually take away a little bit of metal and they can get down to the nice flat fresh metal that's in good condition. And to compensate for the little bit of metal that's been taken away, they're actually going to supply oversized bearings, so that's going to compensate, and effectively we'll be back where we started, just with a nice fresh surface and some brand new bearings. So they're actually going to do all the tolerance checks and all that for me. We will be rechecking them before we install them, just to make sure they've got it right. And yeah, that's basically what a crankshaft regrind is. Now the cams are going down to have them, they're going to be polished basically. They're not so bad they're going to need a regrind, or a replacement would be cheaper than a regrind on the cams. They're not that bad, but they're obviously 24 years old, something along them lines. So I decided it's probably a good idea to get them polished since they're out of the car anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. We're going to be pumping out some videos very soon. In the next video I'm actually going to be cleaning the block, cleaning all the engine components and maybe checking piston ring clearances, but that might be a video in itself. So why don't I give you a little look around at the garage, and I can just show you really the sort of setup I've got. So here we have the door that I come in to the garage. Here we have the Celica. Obviously the engine's still missing. Down here we have the brake discs, some of the suspension, the flywheel. Most of that's junk, especially the clutch. But yeah, that'll be cleaned up. The bits that we can salvage, and it'll be refit in the future. Here we have organized chaos, I think is the best way to explain it. Yeah, these Celicas are not the easiest things to pull apart. Almost everything's had to come out to get this engine out. Obviously here we have the Mitsubishi Evo. Now if you are following the channel mainly for the Evo, I haven't forgotten about it. It is my main passion, and there are a lot of things planned for this car, but we have to get the Celica done because I didn't really do the smartest thing in the world. As you can see, the Celica's not going anywhere and it's blocking in the Evo. So although it's actually fully road legal and fully functioning, there's not much I can do really. There's no point me spending any money on it because I can't take it out of the garage. Now then, over here we have my new work surface which I've bought. I actually watched Devin Niemella's YouTube videos, and he bought one of these fold out camping tables. It has a maximum load of 200 kilograms and it's plastic as well, so it's not going to actually do any damage to the block. So I'm going to use this as a surface really for rebuilding the engine. It's just the bare block really. It just needs a good clean. There's no damage to it, and it can be fully reused. Here we have some track tyres which I'll be fitting to the Evo someday. And then here we have the head. We have the old com rods and pistons. The sump is still there, still full of all the debris. Then we have the sort of, what would you call that? Oil splash pan, I guess. Then you have the oil snorkel and yeah, the lower casing really for the block. The oil pump has been dismantled and it's been found to be scored to death. I mean, I could technically reuse it, but you know, it's sort of cutting corners that caused it to blow up in the first place, so I'm not going to be cutting corners. The com rod here, the spunner bearing, I have a set of com rods here. So really exciting stuff. Obviously, a lot of work to do. The ball's rolling again. The videos are going to be getting punched out thick and fast, hopefully. Yeah, we're just waiting on the crank. Yeah, we're just waiting on the crank, bearings and camshafts to come back from the machine shop. In the meantime, we can clean the block up, clean up the head, clean up all the casings and castings and stuff. And yeah, get the rings ready, get the piston and con rod assemblies ready. So there's a lot we can do. And my main goal, which I'm making a real push for, is to get that bottom end assembled, because I don't like having all these engine parts exposed. I'd like to have them all done now, get them all in the block, nice and safe. And then once the block is assembled, putting the head on, that's easy, and the timing belt. And then it's just a case of slapping it all back together. So hopefully you're excited to be seeing some videos coming out on the Celica again. And I'll see you in the next one. I'll be starting on this engine first thing in the morning. Cheers, guys.